Hey everybody, it's Matthew. Welcome back to the channel. I realized I've done a lot of vocal stuff on the channel so far, but I've never spent the time to actually talk about how I warm up when I'm actually going to practice or, sing something and record it. So we're going to go over that today a little bit. I've got the dual compressor method, so I've got two compressors set up in my DAW. We got one that's really easy and not doing a whole bunch, and then we got one that's a lot harsher and is hitting much harder than the other one. That's a pretty, standard kind of thing with vocals that has been done for a long time, is to have two compressors set up. One is soft, one is really harsh. So that's what we're running today. It's not so great for speech volume, but that's fine. That shouldn't make a big difference. It's going to output high enough that it's not going to matter. Okay, I'm going to sincerely hope the camera's in focus, and we're going to get into this now. So, warming up. Let's talk about why it's important. Whenever you do anything that requires some type of physical dexterity, warming up is always a good thing because it loosens things up, makes it feel easier to do, and also prevents injuries, which is very important, especially for singing. So, warming up when you're starting out, you want to go pretty easy. I've got a little thing that kind of just wakes your voice up and gets it going, and it kind of goes like this: ha-ah, 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 ha-ah. So you're pushing air, stopping it, and then phonating a note like this: ha-ah. Just like that, doing it through your stop. This is a good way to get your voice sort of woken up, get it going before you really get hard into the warm-up. And I do this a lot, jumping around different parts of the range, of course, going really low, and high if you want to, ha-ah, ha-ah, ha-ah. And of course, guys, if you're enjoying things, don't forget to click the subscribe button down below. It really helps me out and helps the channel grow, so I'd appreciate it if you go down and click that subscribe button. Thanks. And of course, you can do this one as intensely as you want. I would recommend not being too intense on it. So more of an intensity like I started with. Ha-ah, 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 ha-eh, ha-eh. And of course, you can do whatever kind of vowel sounds you want. You can do a bunch of different ones. That's always recommended to do. So it's a pretty simple warm-up technique. You can also do a really easy one, which is just to go like, ah, ah, ha, 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 ha. You do really quick phonations, and you're not doing the air stops with that kind of exercise. That's an even easier, softer one to do. But if you're like starting out like the middle of the day or something, then you can do the heavier one with the stops and those kind of things. Next thing, we go to an exercise to warm up our range a little bit more without the strain or without trying to push too hard with our voice. And we're going to do some humming. So close your mouth, and then you're just going to make whatever noises you want with your mouth closed. So so any kind of humming like that. You can even do runs while you're humming. Just, whatever you want to do. Just anything you might do normally, but you're doing it with your mouth closed, humming, which for whatever reason is a lot easier on your voice and your throat than full out singing. And of course, do it throughout your range. Go to the top of your range if you can while you're humming. And you will find that that is much less straining on it when you're going for the top of your range. You feel like you won't be having to reach as much, and that's what's good about a hum exercise to warm up, is it gets everything loose, gets that feeling going without you having to strain too hard to do anything like that. Of course, there's several different other warm-ups you can do besides those two to start with. It really depends on the type of singing you're going to be doing and what kind of practice routine you might have set up after that, which it could be a warm up and then you go into really, particular exercises and things of that nature. Or you do what I do, which is you just pick, songs you like to sing. I've got 5 that I do typically, and I just sing all the way through them in one take, and that's the practice for the most part. Of course, that's a 5-day thing. Days 1 and 2 are like take specific chunks of each one and do them more than once. And then days 3 to 5, you do full runs through the song, generally building your intensity as the days progress. 3 is not supposed to be full out, but I kind of just do whatever for days 3 to 5. I just go through it however I feel like singing them, and that's usually going full out as hard as I possibly can. Anyway, yeah, like I said, though, other exercises you can do for different things or warm-ups. You can do some breathing warm-ups, like doing chugga breathing like this. And then do it that fast too. So you can vary the speed of that. Make sure you don't make yourself hyperventilate or anything. Don't be silly with this exercise. Make sure you're getting the push with your diaphragm every time you're doing that. And if you're properly doing that, you shouldn't run out of air or anything like that. If you're new to that exercise, you might run out of breath a little bit or feel like you don't have enough air. But if you do it a few times, you'll get used to it and it'll be fine. Next thing I do, this is really the final part of my warm-up. I only do these 3 exercises, which is the glottal stop with the phonation, the humming, and then we go into a sort of cool down kind of thing where you reach for a note and then you go slowly back down to the bottom of your range through your break and all that. I won't start immediately with the highest note I can because that's really dumb to do that. You'll strain yourself if you're just going for that immediately. I'll start somewhere a little bit lower than that. I'll be in mixed voice at the very least, but I won't be too high. So we would do something like this. Ideally, you do not want your voice to crack when you're going down through your break. You want to try to keep that as smooth as possible. If you can't, doesn't matter, that's fine. Cracking and vocal breaks can be used as a vocal technique anyway. It's not a big deal if you do that. Classical vocal training will tell you never to crack, but that's a load of nonsense. Don't listen to that. Just let your voice do whatever it's going to do at that stage. Don't try to force it to do something weird. But I mean, the best way to stop it from breaking is you can reduce the amount of air that you're pushing out, or you can compress your voice harder so that it goes straight through the break without cracking. So continuing on with that warm up. I did peak the microphone there a little bit, but keep going, of course. Now, note about intensity. You can compress and do whatever as much as you like when you're doing that. Generally, it's recommended to keep it mostly a clean mix or a clean head voice, not to compress too hard. You do have to compress a little bit to get the notes clear, but you don't have to go super hard distortion, like ha or anything like that. That's just a demonstration. I'm not as good at some of those things while I'm sitting down, but you get the idea with that. You can go hard if you want to, don't need to though. So, and then if you can get to the top of your range, see, there was a little bit of a crack there, but that's the top of the thing. And after that, you should be mostly warmed up, unless you're doing something specific that requires, some other kind of warm up. Maybe you're doing aggressive vocals and you want to work on engaging your false chords. ah, 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 or whatever, things like that. Whoa. So yeah, if you're doing extreme vocals, you might want to do some false chord warm-ups or things like that. A lot of guys, though, that I've heard talk about that do extreme vocals will say they don't actually warm up with extreme vocals. They warm up with clean singing and stuff like that, because that's actually can be better for your voice, because it gets it limbered up before you start, howling and all those fun things like that, because gutturals and those kind of things can be a little bit taxing, and you don't necessarily want to start warming up with them because it can make you more likely to get tired. Anyway, guys, that is going to do it for my vocal warm up. This is what I do typically, so you don't have to follow all of this exactly or anything like that. Use whatever kind of warm ups you want to do. You can do those 3 and you should be good for a lot of situations. If you have something specific you need, you can always look up different ones that you can do, or if you have a specific thing you feel like you need to work on, then, do whatever that is. Search around on YouTube. There's plenty of other places, like my vocal coach, Chris Lipe, of course. He's got great videos as well. And with that, of course, don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. Leave a comment down below for the algorithm. Of course, don't forget to click the bell so you get notified when a new video is out. And I will see you guys next time in another video. Have a good one.